Optical illusions are some of my favorite things. I love how they reveal that so much of our eyesight is not really about the eyes, but what the brain makes of what we see. So today let's react to some optical illusions and try our best to explain how they work. Okay, so this first one is the Fraser spiral illusion. This one's a classic, and while it looks like a spiral, right? It looks like it's almost trying to hypnotize you in a way. It's actually not spiraling. In fact, if you trace it with your finger really carefully, if you put up a kind of a colored circle here, it's not spirals, they're just circles. The way we think this works is that there are certain parts of the brain that have evolved to identify kind of twisting or spiraling. And because they're in a circle, they kind of cancel each other out and your brain sees this spiral effect. Weird. Oh, okay, so I think this is the moon illusion. So the moon, this is something that blew my mind when I was in optometry school and I first learned about it. It's a bit kind of abstract, but so have you ever noticed that the moon, when it's close to the horizon, first rising up in the evening, can sometimes look huge, like it looks ginormous, right? You have like this large red moon, but when you look straight up above you at night in a clear open sky, the moon really doesn't look that big. It can usually look a lot smaller. This is something that's been debated for thousands of years, like why does this happen? Well, the most accepted theory is something called apparent distance. This is where your brain has learned that large objects get smaller the further away you get from them. And the moon, during that open night sky straight up above you, doesn't have anything to compare its size to. So when it is close to the horizon, your brain expects everything to get smaller. But the retinal image size of the moon really doesn't change size. So your brain just kind of assumes this logic, well, if it's not getting smaller, then it has to be that much bigger compared to everything else. And if you don't believe me, then check out the Ponzo Illusion. This is basically kind of the same concept. Here you have like railroad tracks that converge at the top, kind of looking like it's getting further away. And then you have these yellow lines, and the top yellow line appears like it is larger, but in fact, they are the exact same size. It's kind of cool. Oh, these ones are really wild. Yeah, I've seen a couple of different ones like this. These look like they're moving, like when you stare at it, but they're actually not. These are still images, and what kind of looks like a ball spinning and the background moving the other direction. These designs are actually from an artist named Yuri that kind of came out several years ago and like kind of hit the internet by storm, but I don't fully understand exactly how they work, but I know that has something to do with white and black placed in certain patterns, and it sort of creates this illusion of motion. Especially the more you move your eyes around, it appears to move more. But if you hold your eyes super steady, things usually start to slow down. But still, I always have to stop and look at these ones. They honestly even make me kind of motion sick if I look at them too long. So this is really a cool effect. This is actually something that I saw even as a kid and sat there and kind of wondered what is going on. So do you notice how if wheels in a car spin fast enough or just a certain speed, they can appear to slow down or even spin the opposite direction? This has to do with something called temporal aliasing. It more or less has to do with the frame rate of which your brain processes vision. Kind of like how computer screens and other lights, they're technically not a solid light being emitted, they're actually flashing at a very fast speed, so it just appears like it's a solid image. But our brain is also processing small snapshots of information very, very quickly. So if your brain's processing of visual information gets pretty close to kind of the movement of a pattern, then it almost can line up and appear like it has perfectly stopped, or is slowing down, or even going the opposite direction. Again, pretty cool, weird. Yeah, this is one I've seen even when I was a kid. Oh yeah, okay, so I've seen this one before. Do you see how the circle in the middle that has the large ring around it, you see how that circle seems smaller than the other circle that has the smaller ring around it? this is like just some sort of a strange comparison effect. In fact, you can even recognize this in just your day-to-day, especially with food on a plate, for example. So you can even use this optical illusion to your own advantage. If you put food onto a large dinner plate, it'll appear like the plate's not very full. It'll look like the amount of food you have is much less. But if you choose to get a smaller dinner plate, the same exact amount of food will appear to take up more of the plate, and it'll conceptually, from this optical illusion effect, look like you have way more on the plate. So kind of a cool way to trick yourself into having more appropriate proportions of food. Oh, okay, so this is the grid illusion. This one I've seen in a lot of textbooks, and let me know if you've ever seen this illusion before. So when I look straight ahead at the center of this grid, I don't see anything in between these squares, but in the peripheral of my vision, you can sort of see these dark gray or black spots that sort of appear smudged in between all of the different grid lines. It's really difficult to explain why this is, but the concept is something called lateral inhibition. This has to do with how the structure of your retina and brain kind of makes sense of information, as imagining 100 photoreceptors that all converge onto one single retinal ganglion cell, or one nerve fiber that connects and speaks to the brain. It's sort of a way to pool visual information that helps your eyes get super sensitive to subtle changes in light as well as movement. So when you're looking straight ahead, some photoreceptors are being really kind of turned on and you're seeing that high detail, there's nothing in between, but this kind of lateral photoreceptors around that, the ones that are being excited, are more or less being inhibited and turned off. Again, kind of difficult to explain, but still kind of cool. So those were just a few cool optical illusions. Please let me know in the comments your favorite from today, and let me know if there's any other cool illusions you'd like me to break down and react to in future videos. Otherwise, it's pretty clear how the brain and the mind can change what we see and interpret in the world, and stress can significantly affect our minds and our eyes. So to learn how stress can affect the eyes and your vision, check out this video coming right up here to the side. I think you'll enjoy that one. Otherwise, keep an eye on it, and I'll see you in the next one.